Who do we call for help? Sonya Massey had called 911 to report an intruder, which is what we are instructed to do. When we suspect someone breaking into our home, call 911 for protection, right? That's the messaging that we get all the time. And instead, these two police officers showed up at her home, saw that she was alone, and intentionally took her life, right? So who do we call for help? I think it's important that we have alternatives to 911. And if you know any alternatives to 911 in your local community, please list them in the comments, because this is a pattern that we're seeing over and over again. In this specific killing execution, reminded me of being in graduate school and seeing Black people who have been experiencing mental health crises. And the messaging that we received in graduate school for social work, specifically one of the classes that I was in, to like an intro to become a therapist, the advice was given to just standard procedure, call 911 when someone was having a mental health crisis. And when I spoke up and said, what if it's not safe to call 911, because we had just seen multiple instances of Black people having mental health crises, someone they love in their circle calling 911 to help them. Instead, the police showed up and executed them on site, right? They didn't take any of the procedures that we're told to follow when someone is in crisis. They didn't ask questions. They didn't provide compassion. They didn't know how trauma works. No, they just executed them on site. And so we need alternatives to calling 911. Clearly, as we see, this is egregious. This is absolutely egregious. And it has to be said that Black women are under attack in multiple spaces, right? So if you're feeling these same feelings of anger, of disillusionment, of sadness, of pain, of hurt, seeing what happened to Sonya when she called for help, you're not alone, right? And a lot of this is deliberate. A lot of this is deliberate. We cannot keep going with this as implicit bias, y'all. We got to stop with that. No, it's not. No, it's not. These cops showed up and they saw her alone. And as predators do when they see someone alone, right, they struck. They struck. And so how do we protect each other? How do we protect each other? And I had a comment on my channel a few days ago from who I assume was a man, asking me, why do I forsake men in my content? Well, because y'all make us unsafe too. Y'all are oppressors too. I mean, let's be honest. In intersectional oppression that Black women and femmes face, misogyny and patriarchy contribute to our harm, our feeling unsafe as well. And so, no, you will not be centered in this space, because we are also battling misogyny, patriarchy, sexism too. Right? So that just has to be said. Intersectional oppression that Black women and femmes are facing is very real. It's very real. And who do we call for help? Who do we call for help? Because a lot of us are out here by ourselves. And we can only find safety in each other. So that's very real, right? And the more that we share our stories, as Audre Lorde tells us, our silence will not save us. So either way, if we remain silent or if we speak up, we will still be under attack. We will still be targets for people who feel like one day they wake up and they just want to take our lives. I mean, that's the level of evil that we're dealing with. So the more that we share our stories about what we've been through, to warn other people, to organize, to demand justice for what we see happening, right? That's important. Because as these times continue and we see things get even more dire and we see misogynoir left and right, especially with the candidacy of Kamala Harris, right? We see people coming out of the woodwork with their misogynoir that has just been laying dormant, I guess, and now they feel like it's the time to just put it out there. And who suffers? We do. And so we need your voice. We need your perspective. Right? And it's important to say her name, Sonya Massey, who was deliberately targeted, who was executed, who was in need of help, and help did not come. Predators came. Right? And that's been hard for me to sit with over these past few days. It's been hard for me to get things done. And so if you're in that experiencing those same emotions, right? You are not alone. You're not alone. And I'm still trying to process this, and like, it's a lot. Like I talk about on my channel, right? Black women are being targeted left and right, at work, at home, everywhere. And it's like, who do we call for help? Again, the question that I'm asking, where do we find safety? Where do we find solace, peace? A lot of times it's with each other. And that's it. That's it. And so if you're experiencing some of these feelings, right? Feeling difficult, feeling like it's difficult to complete tasks, go along with the day-to-day. That's because vicarious trauma is very real. We saw what happened to Sonya, and that's traumatizing to us as well. And so it's okay if you can't get stuff done. You're human. You're human. That was deeply, deeply traumatizing. And no, I did not watch the video, and no, I don't want to. It's a lot. So just making this video to ask the question, where are we safe? If you know of any alternatives to 911 in your local community, please place them in the comment section. And yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all I have to say. Just please know that you're not alone if you're experiencing these feelings as we continue to see misogynoir grow, expand, take on different forms in different people. It's a lot, and so we need each other at this time, and we need your voice. Thank y'all.